What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I didn't expect to be making a second video today, but obviously when two former top 6 overall picks in the last 4 drafts basically get swapped out for each other, Jamie Drysdale heading to Philadelphia in a second-round pick for Cutter Gauthier, that's going to warrant a video. Came out of nowhere. I was not expecting this. Literally, it was like 7 o'clock. I thought it was fake. It was from a Ducks account. Then I saw it was retweeted by the NHL. I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Cutter Gauthier is an Anaheim Duck. Jamie Drysdale is a Philadelphia Flyer now. And obviously, it made no sense at the time, really, but we've quickly realized from this Frank Saravalli report that sources say Cutter Gauthier informed Flyers organization that he did not want to play in Philadelphia. So clearly, apparently this happened at the end of the 2023 World Championships, which was either in May or June of 2023, that he didn't want to be a Flyer. He basically said, find a trade. Obviously, I'm returning to college. You basically have a full year to find a trade before I potentially sign an ELC in March or April. And this is the deal that Danny Briere ended up cooking up. When looking at it, it definitely stinks for the Philadelphia Flyers to have to trade a guy like Cutter Gauthier. But I think this is a half-decent return. First off, let's look at Cutter Gauthier. Was very good at the U.S. developmental program, USHL stats, 19 goals in 22 games. First year at Boston College. Boston College kind of sucked in his first year. He was the only real high-end prospect. He put up 37 points in 32 games. Then, obviously, the goddamn Perreault, Leonard, Will Smith line arrives. That power play's loaded. Now he has 13 goals, 10 assists for 23 points in 17 games. As for the NHL expected, this compares the different leagues that people play in and project it at the NHL level, based on the data set of the last 40 goddamn years, how they performed in one league, how they'll do in the NHL. He's been projecting pretty well. His star probability has gone down a little bit, but every single year his NHLE, which is NHL equivalent in terms of points, has gone up every single year. And I think when looking at Cutter Gauthier, especially with that NHL equivalency, he's not really a point guy. He's more just a goal guy. And he has such a goddamn elite shot. If you watched him at World Juniors this year, you know that he can absolutely rip the puck. He only ended up scoring 2 goals in 7 games, had 12 points, had a great tournament. But man, if he works on his accuracy a little bit, and he was a lot more accurate at Boston College, he can be a potential 40-goal scorer. And especially when you look at who he's going to end up playing on with the Anaheim Ducks, he's going to be playing with Carlson, McTavish, or Zegras as his center. Probably Carlson or McTavish. I think Zegras is going to push to wing. And they could still end up getting Celebrini. So looking at that, he is going to be playing with elite centers. I was a little bit nervous with the Philadelphia Flyers, although they did have Michkov, who was going to end up being his center. He's going to have the pick of a litter of elite, probably top 10 centers, at least top 15 in like 4 or 5 years to play with. So the Anaheim Ducks are absolutely cooking. I really like it for them, especially considering that a guy like Minchikov has kind of exploded for the Anaheim Ducks. He's looking like their future number 1 defenseman, while Zellweger has been around like point per game in the AHL. They got other guys like Jackson Lacombe and Tristan Lanoux. Not saying Drysdale is expendable, but he definitely was not that top priority compared to a year or 2 ago. When looking at Drysdale from the Flyers' perspective, when he's been able to play besides the 2022-2023 season, which was just a disaster, but over the last, 91 games, he does have 37 points. I think he is a promising offensive defenseman. He has been improving analytically, but again, that's going from like horrible in his rookie year to then being pretty bad, now still being the 25th percentile. I think Jamie Drysdale can end up being like a 40 to 50 point offensive defenseman. He still does have a lot of tools that you like. And again, at the end of the day, he's still only, 21 years old. Most first-round picks, they're not even making like the NHL team at 21 for the most part, playing big minutes. So I think the Ducks did kind of rush his development, throwing him out there so immediately, and then the injuries obviously happened. But when looking at it for the Philadelphia Flyers, they didn't really have an elite defensive prospect as of right now. So maybe with Drysdale, he can be that, not that number 1. I think they're going to have to get a number 1 somewhere else. But looking at Drysdale, maybe he can be that solid second pair, at least, power play specialist. And they did get a second-round pick in this deal. It could end up being a high draft pick. I think the Ducks are going to be better next year, but it still could end up being a top 40 pick. So when looking at this, I definitely think the Anaheim Ducks won this deal. I put my draft grades out. I would give them an A. I would give the Flyers probably a B. But something that I think is very interesting with this Cutter Gauthier situation is that he said that he wanted to be a Philadelphia Flyer, but obviously changed his mind. Going forward, are we going to see more of this? More of these young players kind of have a change of heart and say, yeah, I don't really want to sign with you. I have the leverage here. I can demand a trade, because in this scenario, he kind of did. He held the franchise by the balls basically for like 7-8 months. So I think going forward, prospects might realize that they have more power. I saw the thing with Gauthier. Apparently, he was a Pittsburgh Penguins fan growing up. So apparently they're saying like, oh, he just refused to play for the Flyers. I can't really support or like defend that, because I think even if I was a goddamn top 5 pick and I was drafted by the Rangers, I think I probably would suck it up. I wouldn't be like, oh, no, I need to be an Islander, I'm going to die. I would end up sucking it up. But when looking at Gauthier, it is pretty interesting, and it's going to trend more towards player mobility and player movement in the NHL as of right now. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Who do you think wins this deal? And I'll be seeing you in the next one.